What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is April the 3rd. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off, you do see ADP non-farm employment just came out a little bit higher than anticipated. So 148 was the forecast, came in at 184. So that is helping the broader market recover slightly. The futures were very red. Aside from that, though, you do have Powell speaking later today. So he's going to be giving his economic outlook. So no doubtably that's going to cause a lot of volatility dependent on what is said. And then over and above that, you do see the fear and greed index starting to pull down slightly. So again, that might really affect a lot of spec plays. Getting right into stocks though, SOFI is up 1.39% based off of no news, no SEC filing. So it has been rather quiet from them. But based on the technicals, it was getting over a very strong, resistance point at the tail end of yesterday. So I think this is more of a byproduct of that. To play devil's advocate though, yesterday pre-market SOFI was also green. And then as soon as the market did open, it just tanked. So again, that might potentially happen, but the amount of volume that is getting into SOFI is very, very abnormal. So something to consider. It isn't shorts because shorts are increasing about 68,000 shares right now. 20.04% of the free float is being shorted. That works out to be 197.48 million shares overall are being shorted. And then utilization is 65.48. If you are looking at trading SOFI, you'll want to watch for this S1 to hold. So 719. And then right above it, kind of where we are, is this pivot point of $7.35. So that'll be the next strong target essentially for SOFI to really get above. Moving on to stock number 2. So Helios Medical Technologies, tickers HSDT. It is up 27.03% based off of this partnership. This is what they do, so you can always pause it and read through it. So healthcare equipment and seasonality, April doesn't seem to be that good of a month for it over this last 9 years. So down 7.4% historically. So that's again something to consider, but overall, based off of this pre-market and maybe this news about this partnership with Lovell Government Services, I think that's a pretty good thing regardless. It isn't that heavily shorted for a biotech. So around 9.21% of the free float is being shorted. 76.83 thousand shares overall are being shorted. So it is a fairly low floater. Utilization is 31.44%. And then short score, which the higher the number, the higher the likelihood of a squeeze happening, is 68.95. If you are looking at trading this with it at 733, it is trading right above this R2. So you'll want to watch for this 729 support to hold. But given the amount of volume and everything, I do feel it probably will pull back into this R1 to this R2. So 671 will be a strong support that you'll want to watch for it to hold. And for whatever reason, if this stock does really spike due to the low float and maybe something else, $8.21 will be that target. Moving on to stock number 3, so VNDA Pharmaceuticals, tickers VNDA. It is up 24.3% based off of FDA approval of, their bipolar disorder tablets. And this is what they do. So you can always pause it and then read through it. Seasonality, it is historically down about 3% over the last 10 years. And I think May and June seem to be fairly good months, but still a lot of money is getting into a lot of these companies I'm talking on this morning. So it is up 24.3%. So maybe there's some pretty good validity to that. It isn't that heavily shorted. So 5.73% of the free float is being shorted. 2.98 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization is 0.74%, so very low stuff. If you're looking at trading this with it at 494, it is right in this R2 to this R3, which is relatively high. So you'll want to watch this R2 to hold. So 480, vice versa, 518. I don't really anticipate there being any justified reason for it to get above this R3 because there's still a lot of steps after where it is. Currently just got the rubber stamp from, so it still has to market. There's a lot of other aspects of the business that investors need to worry about. So in my opinion, I feel like it is going to gravitate as soon as the market does open to this R2, and potentially, dependent on what does happen in the market, if it starts to sell off once again, then you're going to see it trade between this R1 and this R2. So just tread lightly. Moving on to Intel. So it is down 5.21% based off of this. So it just came out after hours yesterday. So Intel outlines financial framework for foundry business, sets path to margin expansion. So clearly this is more of a telltale sign of a company that's somewhat struggling with expenses, and with the Q1 earnings just concluding, I think this is a fair assumption that they didn't really hit the key metrics. Because normally you do see companies do these types of PRs right after the quarter ends, but then again, right before their actual conference call. So it kind of lays a foundation for investors to kind of realize that, hey, we probably missed on earnings per share. A lot of the other key metrics, our expenses were too high, like R&D and like G&A. So again, I think this is more of a red flag. The market's taking it clearly as a red flag, but shorts aren't really doing all that much. And then again, Intel is not really heavily shorted. So 1.7% of the free float is being shorted. Utilization is 0.09. So I don't think I've ever seen anything as low as that. 72.38 million shares overall are being shorted though. If you are looking at trading Intel with it at 41.67, just watch for this 41.48 support to hold. And then vice versa, 43.79 will be that next strong resistance. I do not anticipate it ever getting close to this pivot point today. So it's probably going to be flirting with this S1 throughout the day. So just again, trade accordingly. And finally, last one is Tesla. So Tesla's kind of rocking the EV market somewhat. No actual updates as far as production numbers or kind of anything like that. A lot of analysts are trying to speculate and give justified reasons either for it or against it. So it is down 1.34%, not really heavily shorted. So 3.71% of the free float is being shorted. 102.75 million shares overall are being shorted. I did bring this up in my video yesterday, I think it was. So you do see shorts regardless, even though it's not heavily shorted, shorts started to really double down on Tesla. So on a percentage basis, it is something to kind of just be cautiously aware of if you are investing in Tesla, especially long term. And with it right now at $164 pre-market, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. We do know this S1 is a very strong support because that exactly was the saving grace yesterday from the crazy sell-off that did happen. So the low yesterday was 163.43 cents. And then again, this is kind of the support. So let me know your thoughts on that. I do not feel it is going to get anywhere close to this pivot. So this is going to be another one of those stocks that the overall technicals are pointing to it going down. And this is why you do see a lot of chatter about Tesla hitting to about the 150s, because if this does break, then 150 is going to be the next target. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. But one final thing I just wanted to share with you, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for an account with MULN MULN, throw $100 at it, and they give you 7 fractional shares of the Mag 7. So that is a total value of around $35. So a pretty good return on investment for just throwing $100 at a account. So again, take that into consideration. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.